this cut. There's three truck battle for the lead as they come up on a couple lap cuts.
Luis is definitely not going to let him in. Here comes with the second. He's going to take him 3 wide down to the line.
Luis tries to throw a block and he cuts.
And here comes Chris Smith off turn number 4. Wesley Pistol might have a shot at the win here. Here they come to the line.
Oh, he gets the back.
And Pistol.
Back on the back bumper of James Ray there, desperate for a win, desperate to get back into the championship.
Oh, he gives him the bumper.
Evan Pietka's going to come through to win it. Coots hanging tough. Oh, Jones is loose. He's going to drive up into him. Can Coots hang on to it off the corner? Coots gets it. If it's Tuesday, that means Apex Energy Series racing from the Slingshot Racing League. Welcome, race fans. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined in the booth tonight by Chris Smith. We're bringing you live racing action in the Xfinity B-Class cars from Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Brickyard 175, presented by Evan Pienta Designs. Nestled in the heartland of America, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway stands as a coliseum of speed, a shrine where the echoes of roaring engines reverberate through racing history, making it the racing capital of the world. The saga of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway began in 1909 when visionaries, including Carl Fisher, carved a 2.5-mile oval from the farmlands of Indiana. Little did he know that this seemingly unassuming stretch of asphalt would forge a legacy that transcends time. The inaugural Indy 500 in 1911 set the stage for a spectacle that would capture the hearts of racing fans worldwide. As the years unfolded, the Brickyard witnessed the triumphs and tribulations of racing legends. The names of A.J. Foyt, Mario Andretti, as well as Gordon and Earnhardt echo through its corridors, each etching their indelible mark in the Speedway's rich history. The infamous yard of bricks at the start-finish line serves as a mosaic of victories and defeats, a testament to the relentless pursuit of speed and glory that every driver dreams of achieving. In the shadows of Gasoline Alley, where mechanics toil and drivers prepare for speed, the ghosts of racing's past seem to linger. The aura of the Brickyard is not confined to the present. It's a bridge that connects generations, a timeless stage where each race unfolds like a gripping chapter in a novel. Which driver will write a new chapter tonight? Chris, in case you didn't know it, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has served as a test track for various automotive innovations, including the development of the first ever passenger car airbag in 1971. Drivers are going to be looking to innovate out on track tonight because every inch of your corner entry matters here. Miss one and say goodbye to a spot or more. What are drivers going to have to do to correctly maneuver out there tonight if they're to achieve the perfection that Indianapolis requires?
Well, it's really easy to get caught up in the history of this place. It is known for the greatest spectacle in racing. But beyond that, it is a very, very challenging, difficult track. It's a track that drivers have to hit their marks every single corner entry. If you don't hit your marks on corner entry, it's going to cost you tenths of a second. You'll see a lot of separation between cars tonight that you typically don't see on ovals, especially in Slingshot Racing League where the competition's really, really tight. Some drivers really know how to get around this track and others struggle at it, so it's going to be a challenge for all of these drivers tonight.
Absolutely. Big challenges ahead, but before we get to the scary stuff, let's hit up a Slingshot fan favorite. Everybody on your feet, please stand for the national anthem. We'll be back on the other side. All right, back here in Speedway, Indiana, Ellis Thomas and Chris Smith in the Slingshot Racing broadcast booth. We've got a lot of action for you tonight here from Indianapolis in the Evan Pienta Designs Brickyard 175. Before we get to the storylines that we like to use to set up the race for all of our viewers, who we are very grateful for tuning in tonight on YouTube and Twitch, we're going to take a live look at points. As of last week, Chris, major storyline change. Jacob Bradley taken out of the race on a lap 52 collision, put him near the end of the line in terms of points finishers last week, and it's going to allow Justin Wilson to close up to just 75 points, or 17 points, a much closer margin out from the lead with just 4 races remaining, including tonight. What's Justin Wilson got to do if he's going to continue to close that gap?
Well, he's got to do what he did last week. He's got to go out here and run up front, contend for the win, try to lead as many laps as possible, get all the bonus points that he can possibly get. There's a lot of bonus points on the line here, between the pole, lap sled, most lap sled, and on Sunday night, he was by far the fastest car in the practice race that we ran, both on short run and long run pace. So he's just got to keep on doing that.
Absolutely. He's going to be looking to continue consistency tonight. Let's go ahead and look at the storylines headed into this race. The biggest one, at least the most immediate, and what several drivers are going to be looking at tonight, is the Dash for Cash payout race. Last week, we had a qualifier race where the top 6 drivers moved on to this week to duke it out for possibly $50. The top driver of those 6 drivers who finishes at the front tonight is going to win $25. If that driver can win the race, they're going to take home a double or nothing bonus up to $50. So we'll be on the lookout. A lot of money on the line tonight. Those Dash for Cash drivers are Jeremy Gardner, last week's winner, Justin Wilson, Scotty Sobczak, Randy Bechtel, and Chris Pierce. One notable name missing from that list is Ryan Hinkle, who finished in the 6th position, but it's a little bit under the weather. We know he's watching, so great job last week, Ryan. We'll be looking to see you back on the track next week. Sorry you can't run for the cash. We had already mentioned Jacob Bradley needing to rebound tonight, looking to do so tonight with a good qualifying spot. Currently, he's 3rd on the lineup. We'll see where he finishes. Also, we mentioned Jeremy Gardner. His breakout victory last week at Las Vegas in the closing laps has made him a favorite for this race. We'll see if he can continue that momentum and work his way up to the front by the time it is ready to bring out the checkered flag. Drivers without wins this season, Chris, we've been mentioning it for a couple weeks now. Names like Johnny Rapp, Scotty Sobczak, Randy Bechtel, they haven't taken home a victory tonight. So Who's going to get that first win of the season? I think it's anybody's guess. And then the last story, hit your marks. We've been talking about it all pre-race, Chris. One misstep going into a corner can cost you tenths of a second. And I know to the average fan, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it can mean the difference between a couple of spots on the exit of a corner down a straightaway. So we're going to be keeping an eye on how drivers are going about hitting those marks perfectly tonight. And you're going to have several drivers who miss them. So I'm looking to see some opportunities for passing as we go through this race. But right now, qualifying grid is set for the Evan Pienta Designs Brickyard 175. And one of the few times this season, Scotty Sobczak is on the pole. He is your Evan Pienta Designs Pole Award winner. And the Pole Award winner is entered into a contest to see which driver has the most poles by the end of the season. The driver who starts on the first row, at least I guess the pole position each week, the most, is going to get a free paint scheme design and consultation from Evan Pienta Designs. He's got some great schemes you can see on the track. Scotty Sobczak is in an Evan Pienta Design scheme tonight. So he's going to be starting from the pole, Chris. We've raced against him at Indy. He is a formidable force. But you mentioned already Justin Wilson looking to continue the momentum and build on that championship run in second with an outside pole qualifying run here. Jacob Bradley going to be starting in the third position. We mentioned not too far behind Justin. He's going to have his eyes on that 58 car. Randy Bechtel looking for that first win tonight. Going to be starting on the outside of row 2 in that 51 car. And then Braxton DeWeese making his second start of the season in that 8 car. We saw him at Darlington. He is your 87 Series champion from over the course of the summer, but he hasn't been able to run full time with us. We're glad that he is back tonight and has brought some viewers into the chat with him. I know that is a guaranteed. Rye Jones going to be starting on the outside of row 3 next to DeWeese. Jeremy Gardner, last week's winner, going to be starting in the 7th position in that Slingshot Racing number 5. Johnny Rapp also looking for that first win of the season. We've seen him be really good here at Indy, Chris. Going to be starting on the outside of row 4. Steve McDonald starting in the 6th position. Patrick Piper going to be starting from the 10th position. That 38 car is a car we've seen getting faster and faster each week. Dan Rowe going to be starting 11th, Patrick Colby 12th, and then Slingshot newcomer Nick Lucci starting lucky number 13 and that number 96 tonight. James Suggs, Chris, he has had a string of bad luck over the last couple of weeks in this series and our Super Speedway series. He's going to be starting in the 14th, looking to change his luck tonight. Josh Ward 15th. Scott Tompkins, who did finish a race last week, is going to be starting 16th. Evan Pienta going to be starting 17th. Wesley Pistol, 18th. Sean Johnson, 19th. And I know some Kyle Dewey fans are in the chat will be glad to hear he had a top 20 qualifying run on the outside of row 10. We'll go ahead and scroll those final starting positions out of the 30 drivers we have on the grid tonight across the bottom of the screen as we catch up on some last-minute stories. Chris, we mentioned drivers are going to be on top of it tonight, or at least try to be on top of it tonight, as they try to hit their marks. This is a long race. It's going to require a good bit of mental focus. How difficult is that to do for 70 laps here at a big 2.5-mile track like Indianapolis?
It's very difficult. This is one of the more frustrating tracks that you can race in stock cars. Very, very difficult to pass. I think you'll see the cars sticking really close together here for about the first 10 laps before we get some pretty big separation between them.
And speaking of separation, pace car is going to peel off. Drivers are going to head down the front straightaway, led by Scotty Sobczak and Justin Wilson. The flagman waves the green. We are underway at the Yard of Bricks here in Indianapolis, Indiana for Slingshot Racing League. Sobczak going to head down into the corner. Justin Wilson on the outside, Chris. This is another thing we're going to be watching all night long. If you have to start on the outside, you got to be real careful and hold on to as many positions as possible because you are at a disadvantage.
You are. Everybody right now is just looking to get single file. Looking to get lined up right here. You don't want to be on the outside too long because you are just probably going to get freight trained if you stay out there.
Yeah, going to get freight trained, and that is what drivers are going to be looking out for in the early going. Close battles right now between Patrick Piper and Dan Rowe. That's going on back in the 9th and 10th position. Looks like Rowe's going to get that position. He's not the spot over the course of the first lap. Piper back a spot. He's got Nick Lucci behind him. Piper going to take a look down the front straightaway, though. He's going to show his nose, but he's not going anywhere. Doesn't have the run down into one. Keeping an eye right now, Scotty Sobczak has jumped out, Chris, to a very healthy lead. He's about 0.6 of a second up on the rest of the field. So we watched Justin Wilson contend with Jacob Bradley back there.
Yeah.
I'm watching kind of a different line between these two drivers. Bradley kind of arcing the corner a little bit more than Justin Wilson, which is helping him maybe draw a little bit of a run down these straightaways.
Yeah, I think Justin kind of missed turn one right there. I don't think that was the line that he's letting.
He's going to give up. Yeah.
Oh, this is one thing I noticed on Sunday night is that I was trying really hard. I was around Justin a lot in that little practice race that we did, and I was trying to pace myself off of him because I felt like he was doing a really nice job of saving his tires, and I think that is the strategy he has tonight. I think he expects a lot of long green flag racing here.
And that's kind of the look we've got going right now. Just about to finish lap 2. Scotty Sobczak is up to it over a second lead. He is inched out, and I say inched out. Inched out is kind of an understatement right now here as drivers hit lap 3. Looking through the field, a couple of battles going on. Nick Lucci and Josh Ward going at it for 11th position. Ward almost gets the back bumper of that 96 for just a moment, headed down into turn 2 as they go down the back straightaway here. That's going to put Ward back into the clutches of Evan Pienta, but it looks like Lucci's going to let Ward go by. And kind of a sportsmanly-like racing here. Nick Lucci is kind of new to Slingshot Racing League. This is his first race. I don't think he wants to make any enemies out there as his teammate Evan Pienta works his way by on lap number 3. It's also going to open the door for that number 9 of Patrick Colby, who's worked his way up to 13th now, or at least going for 13th.
Yeah, and you really see right here how badly it can affect you if you get hung out on the outside, get passed by one person. If you can't get back to the bottom, Nick Lucci has lost 3, going on possibly 4 positions here since he went up to. It's almost some contact between Tompkins and the wall.
Scotty Tompkins, James Suggs. Suggs puts Tompkins into the wall. Caution is out on lap number 4 here.
Man, the caution,
in Indianapolis.
The caution did not wave quickly there, and I think that's why we had some. We had some contact
piled
after.
in there.
Yeah, I don't know why the sim didn't throw the caution as quickly as it should have, but James Ledford, Patrick O'Toole, those drivers got caught up in this. We'll go back and we'll see what happened here. This started on the straightaway before they even got to the corner.
Yeah, James Ledford. Tony Caputo got in that as well. Several drivers, high speeds headed down into turn 1 here, so it's really difficult to avoid these sorts of things as we are under caution on lap number 4 here at Indianapolis, and you can see Compton's gets that apron, Chris, and we talked about the perfection needed as you get into these corners. He clips that apron and pushes him up the track a little bit.
Yeah, he ran up on, that's a very odd looking, he ran up on the back of Patrick Colby. I thought there was going to be contact on entry there initially, but here he is. He's looking to the inside of Lucci. He's trying to follow Colby, and it's like a car stepped, sideways. I don't know if maybe he's got a lot of rear brake in it, but it stepped a little bit sideways on him first on entry to that corner, and it kind of bounced up a little bit, and James Suggs was there. It's a very odd-looking crash, but yeah, we're watching the aftermath right here. Yeah, Caputo, Ledford, Patrick O'Toole as well.
Those drivers, they're on the brakes, but going, the rates of speed they are into the corners. If you got one guy who, it looks like I saw a little bit of contact, I couldn't see who pushed another car kind of into that as they went down, so we continue to watch the replay.
Yeah, I think it was possibly Ledford into the back of O'Toole. Oh, Matt Kuntz got some damage as well, it looked like. But, yeah, the sim
O'Toole's going to live to fight another day, looks like.
He is. The sim was just really late throwing the caution there, and I'm not sure why, because Scott Tompkins was stopped in the middle of the track. Yeah,
that is very strange. iRacing cautions have definitely been strange this season. Right now, we are under caution. Lap number 5, I believe. Leader's going to have the opportunity to pit this time by. They did not take it. I'm a little surprised we didn't see anyone. Several cars back there are going to take it. So some guys who are running kind of top 10 or right outside the top 10 going to take the opportunity to make those pit stops right now.
One thing I do want to mention real quick is one of our fast qualifiers, Braxton DeWeese. I did not see him grid up. I think he started from the pits because I saw him drive past all that mess.
Yeah, he started, and he's up to 20th now. So
yeah.
we do have a big field, so that's definitely a risk that Weiss took, but he cleared 8 cars already in the first 4 laps. Hey, and I believe we are still 2 to go from green, so I think this might be a good opportunity as we watch some of these cars come off the pit road to go ahead and hear from our presenting partner tonight, Evan Pienta Designs. If you were watching and you're on the iRacing service and need a paint scheme for your car, Evan has got some great stuff. We'll go ahead and hear from him in this ad break. Are you looking for high-quality, affordable sim racing paint schemes and graphics? Then look no further than Evan at Evan Pienta Designs. Driven by speed, Evan Pienta Designs offers a multitude of sim racing graphics, from liveries to social media graphics to team and series logos. To see some of the work done by Evan, or even race one of the public liveries he's made, head on over to tradingpaints.com and search Evan Pienta. All right, we are back here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, getting ready for a restart that's going to come on lap number 8, it looks like, after a lap number 4 caution, taking out Scotty Tompkins and Tony Caputo, as well as a couple other cars. A couple cars have recovered that were involved in that incident. And again, we mentioned it, lines matter, hitting your marks matter, and we saw Scott Tompkins get a little bit out of shape down there into the corner, and it caused some massive chaos down there in turn 1. So drivers headed down the back straight right now. Lap 7 of 70 in the books. Going to be hitting lap 8 here in a minute. Scotty Sobczak is your leader. Actually, Jacob Bradley. No, Scotty Sobczak is your leader. Jacob Bradley second. Jeremy Gardner has worked his way, Chris, up to fourth to third, rather.
Third.
He's up 4 positions on the evening so far. So really good run going for Jeremy Gardner tonight. Just looking through my timing screens. Randy Bechtel is 5th. Justin Wilson is 4th. So right now, Jacob Bradley really doing what he's got to do to maintain that point lead, Chris. But Jeremy Gardner has kind of been the story of the race right now. Hitting the front stretch, pace car is going to be getting ready to pull off here. And we're going to be green once more here at Indianapolis. Scotty Sobczak controls the field. He jumps out to a lead. We are underway once again at Indy. Scott Sobczak is going to lead him down into turn number 1. Jacob Bradley is second, but Jeremy Gardner solidifying third position with an aggressive pass under Justin Wilson, who slides back to 4th. Rye Jones is going to be in the 5th position. That's going to move Randy Bechtel back to 6th position right now. So a little bit of moving, shaking going on that restart. Looking to see if we have any too-wide action. We do. Back in 11th, Patrick Piper working on the left side of Nick Lucci, headed down into turn 2. We're going to see how Piper approaches this. He's got the preferred line.
He missed the bottom.
High, though.
Yeah, a little bit on entry. He's able to correct it, though, and that's something we were talking about before. Just missing it by that little bit puts a lot of strain on that right front tire.
It does, and we mentioned tires are going to be at a premium here. If drivers are going to try to make it a single pit stop race, at least potentially under green. We saw several drivers, I think, who were looking to do that tonight, who made their pit stop there on lap number 4. And right now, Evan Pienta on the inside. Nick Lucci pushes him up on the corner a little bit. Lucci's going to have to get out of the throttle, not to hit that wall. They're going to head down in to the next corner, a shorter corner here, down onto the backstretch. And right in front of them, Patrick Piper's got a good run going on the number 6 of Steve McDonald. Meanwhile, Wesley Pistol working his way under Nick Lucci as well. A couple of battles going on track right now down on the backstretch, 10th through about 18th. Piper really can't capitalize on having that inside line, and McDonald, who's not going to let him go. This is a battle for the 10th position between the 38 and the 6th. Everything else seems to have straightened out for the time being. Looking at a battle with Kyle Dewey in the 33 back in 18th. Chase Berry on the inside down the front straightaway. You can see that black and gray car dip his nose out, headed down into 1. I know we've got some Kyle Dewey fans in the chat right now. Going to be disappointed to see him drop back a couple of positions here, Chris. And this highlights this idea that if you are on the outside, you're going to be in for a world of hurt with several cars having an opening to make their way by, as it looks like the 33 of Dewey almost got into the wall on the backstretch there, had to let out the throttle.
Yeah, and, want to briefly mention another driver that started at the back. Chase Berry did not take a qualifying lap, so he's made his way up to the 18th position here and looking to continue moving up. And we're also going to try to keep an eye on a couple of these guys who did come to pit road. Patrick Colby did take tires along with Johnny Rapp. Johnny Rapp's already up to the 15th position, making quick work of a lot of drivers here in the back half of the field. We'll see what type of progress those guys are able to make, as tire wear, I think, is going to be at a premium tonight. The guys who are able to put that left front between the curb and the white line, sort of like in that space, like right underneath the white line in the corners, I think as long as they are not charging, driving in too deep, I think those are the drivers who are going to save a lot of right front tire tonight.
And those are going to be the guys who continue to work their way through the field on these potentially long green flag stretches. Watching Sean Johnson take a bit of a stab at the 52 of Johnny Rapp. Several other battles going on the field right now. Looking at James Danforth, battle for 18th between Danforth and Colby. Colby's going to duck underneath Danforth. Car in the wall. Dan Rowe, we are still under green. Not sure what happened to 68. He is up the track. We're going to go back and take a look at what happened there with Dan Rowe. We can figure out what happened to that 68 car.
Patrick Piper and he were side by side on entry to 3 right here, and yeah, they get hooked together. Piper comes up a little bit. They get together again, and unfortunately, Dan Rowe is getting the short end of the stick there on that one.
And that is side by side racing. That's the difficulty here of the nature of kind of having a narrower track and a single preferred line. So Dan Rowe going to be in trouble early here on lap number 12. Second caution of the evening, coming at the expense of a couple of cars. Patrick Piper looks like he's going to live to fight another day, but that 68 had some hard contact to the wall, Chris. So we'll be looking at see how that 68 is able to recover, if at all, over the course of the rest of the race. Now, this brings up an interesting question. We're on lap number 12 here, looking at the leaders. We saw several other cars make a yellow flag pit stop on lap 4. Is this an opportunity for leaders to come in and pretty much guarantee that they can make it on a single stop the rest of the race?
I don't
Several of them are.
Yeah.
Scotty Sobzak coming down. He's going to be the sitting duck out in front. Jacob Bradley, Jeremy Gardner, and the rest of the field, except Johnny Rapp, I think, who pit earlier on lap 4. All drivers coming down pit road right now. Jacob Bradley leading the way here on lap number 12. Chris, track position is a premium for these drivers, and giving it up, they're hoping to maintain as much positions as possible on pit road here. So the speediness of these pit stops, to Jacob Bradley, looked like he might have overshot his pit for a second. He did. That is going to be just a marginal slowdown of his pit stop, but that's going to be enough to potentially lose a position. I think we see several drivers, Chris, taking 2 tires or gas only here. Jacob Bradley's going to be beat out by at least 7 or 8 cars.
Yeah, Jeremy Gardner was the
strategies.
Jeremy Gardner, the first one to come off pit road right here. He did get 4 tires. It's like Lee Campbell here either took just fuel only or 2 right side tires. Same for James Danforth. Everybody else, I think, took 4 tires that's up here. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting strategy right here to see these two, how if they took 2 tires, are their cars going to be a lot looser here on this initial start? Drivers up here that are at the front of this field, Scotty Sobzak, I think, is probably in a little bit of trouble here if it goes green for a while, because he has not put on any tires. Johnny Rapp has made a stop. He has 7 laps on his tires, counting several caution laps, so he took 4. Chase Berry has made a pit stop as well. I think that he took fuel only, though, so he's still on the same tires that he started the race on, and he would be restarting 3rd based upon the running order right now. Patrick Colby in 4th also came to pit road with Johnny Rapp, so I feel like those two are sitting in a pretty decent spot right now as far as their strategy goes, and we'll add Matt Kuntz into that as well.
About a lap away right now from the green flag. Let's go ahead and hear from our partners at Apex Energy here for just a moment before we go back green. We are back here at Indianapolis, just about a quarter of a lap away from the restart, coming on lap 15 of 70. Scotty Sobczak is going to be your leader. So far, he is the only car tonight that has not come down pit road besides Kyle Dewey. I know we've got some Dewey fans in the chat. If you're in the chat right now, first of all, we appreciate you. Let us know who you're rooting for. As the pace car gets ready to peel off, getting ready to go back green here, Scotty Sobczak leads the way. He's going to get a jump. He's the control car. Green flag racing once again here for Slingshot Racing League in the Apex Energy Series. Sobczak, clean start. Chase Berry, though, making a huge run on the 52 of Johnny Rapp. Going to think better of it. Shows Johnny Rapp a little bit of grace. Top 4 R5, our single file right now. Going through the pack right now, Jeremy Gardner, first car on fresh tires, looking to get his way through the field. Matt Kuntz is
way up the track.
Victim.
Matt Kuntz
Several
way up the
cars
track.
Up the track. Yeah, absolutely. He's got a gaggle of cars behind him. Dewey, Danforth, Jones, Lucci, Bradley, and
Three
Wilson.
wide.
You can throw a blanket all over these cars as they head down into the corner.
Man, Justin Wilson backed out of it right there. He's like, I don't want any part of this, and he let it all transpire in front of him.
There, Kuntz once again into the wall there.
Man, Matt Kuntz is having a hard time right here. I think he just wants to get out of the way.
Yeah, he is suffering from, the initial strategy of, it seemed like probably a good idea of not taking tires, but right now he is going to pay the price. He got a little bit of TV time in that number 13 car, but I think he's going to be wishing he had fresh tires right about now.
This is a
Back
hornet's
up on
nest.
the field. Yeah, several cars on top of each other back there in the 7th, 8th, 9th position. Justin Wilson looking inside. Nick Lucci, Jacob Bradley behind him is going to be the next to try to capitalize on the exit of turn number 2. Randy Bechtel and James Danforth await the next opening underneath Lucci, who is really struggling right now, losing several positions on this restart. Bechtel going to go ahead and jump to the inside down into turn 3. Josh Ward going to try to capitalize on that opening into turn 4. We'll see if Lucci leaves it open. The 57 is going to take that position. He's got Evan Pienta, who's Lucci's teammate, right behind him. Kyle Dewey almost in the wall in the front straightaway, right in front of those guys. Justin Wilson looking to make the move right now for the 7th position. Or the 8th position, I should say. Jacob Bradley going to go underneath Kyle Dewey as well. This is a battle going on for the 9th position. Randy Bechtel, Dewey losing several spots here on this restart. So things are going to definitely sort themselves out as these drivers who are on old tires find themselves sliding through the field pretty early here, Chris.
Yeah, this has been a crazy, crazy restart, and these guys are, not giving any quarter to each other and racing extremely hard, and they're keeping it all together here, which is what we like to see. But as we've seen all night, the margin for error here is super, super small, with the racing line being as narrow as it is. So I don't think that we've seen the last of our contact based upon the way that the night's gone so far.
No, I don't think so. I'm looking at James Danforth back here in the 18th position, and there's definitely some interesting racing as Chris Blassie and Patrick Piper looking to make his way up back through the field after getting a penalty for being the initiator of that lap number 12 crash. Kyle Dewey in front of them continues to slide back. It's going to be another car that they have to deal with here on slightly older tires. Look at the closing rate on the number 15 of Chris Blassie on the back end of that number 33 as they head down the back straight here. Lap number 18 of 70 in the books here for Slingshot Racing League in the Evan Panta Designs Brickyard 175. Piper taking a look on the inside down into turn 3. Blassie's going to lose another spot as he works his way up to the back end of the number 33 of Kyle Dewey. Dewey, Chris, I believe, has lost at least 10 spots on this restart, but again, you got to have experience racing some of these leaders, and sometimes staying out on old tires, as long as you're respectful, can be a great opportunity to kind of experience some laps around some of these really fast race car drivers. So
yeah, he and Scotty Sobczak are the only drivers who are on the same set of tires that they started the race with, and yeah, Kyle's just having a really hard time right now. If I'm him, I just want to get to the bottom right here and just try to run some laps and, just try to keep my nose clean. And at the front of this field, Scotty Sobczak still has a slight lead. Johnny Rapp is just shadowing him, not letting him get too far away, just, maintaining pace with him. And, Scotty Sobczak showing a lot of speed here to be able to do this on these older tires. I know we've had a lot of laps under yellow, so that might also be, working in Scotty's favor here, but he obviously has, a good handle on this track.
Yeah, Scotty Sobczak doing a great job out here. About a car length now. You mentioned Johnny Rapp just shadowing him in that number 52. Going back further to third place, this is where the action is picking up. Patrick Colby drawing close to the back bumper of that number 17 each closing lap, but he's got Rye Jones in the 91 hounding him, who's got Jeremy Gardner and Jacob Bradley not too far behind. So this is a situation where if one car makes a mistake, they miss their marks just barely, as we watch Jacob Bradley duck a nose under Gardner headed down the back straight into 3. You're going to lose a tremendous amount of spots if you get caught up on the high line and you're not prepared to duck down and then get back in line. So we watch Gardner's not only going to lose the position to Jacob Bradley, he's also going to lose the position to Justin Wilson as well. And he's got Randy Bechtel not too far behind. So Jeremy Gardner kind of proving our point early of, if you are on the outside, you better get down. But Chase Berry continues to lead that second pack in third position right now. A couple of drivers showing their nose. Aggressive move, looking like Rye Jones was thinking about it down into 1. He's going to think better of it. He's going to try to set that pass up potentially on the backstretch if he can hit his marks correctly down into 2. He's going to take that inside, though, and he's going to gobble up the number 9 of Patrick Colby down the backstretch. He might get a little bit of help from the 60 of Jacob Bradley, or does Bradley take it 3 wide? I think he's going to think big picture here, and he's going to give the number 91, his Payday Racing teammate, a little bit of a nudge now in the corner to clear him of the 9. That's also going to open up the hole for Justin Wilson to get underneath Patrick Colby. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I was just going to say, these drivers, they smell blood in the water. They're like sharks. Whenever there's a driver that gets, passed on the inside, they quickly line up with all the other ones. They're not going to give that driver on the outside a chance to get in. They want to try to keep him out there. We saw Jeremy Gardner. He was running up there in front of all these guys, and now he's all the way back here in 11th position. And it's not because he's lacking for speed. It's just because he was hung out.
Yeah, Patrick Colby kind of following the same storyline here as Gardner comes full circle, and he's going to get underneath Colby, who kind of suffered the same fate as him just a couple of laps later. So Gardner working back up to 10th. Colby back to 11th, Chris, and it feels like just a moment ago we were talking about Patrick Colby sitting in the 4th position. So
almost some
fortunes
contact
could change.
there.
Yeah, a little bit of contact between Gardner and Colby. That's going to open the door for Braxton DeWeese in that 8, Chris, who has been one of the biggest movers of the race so far. Look and see how many DeWeese is up. My scoring isn't giving me the accurate picture because he's down 6. But
it's because
he didn't start.
Yeah, he didn't start where he qualified. So
yeah, he is definitely, the story is a little bit brighter than the stats are telling right now for Braxton DeWeese, who has slid into the 11th position. That's probably close to a 16 or 17 positions gain, though, over the course of the race and pit stops. Watching Chase Berry fall back a little bit right now, having real big trouble on the outside in that 17. Ward's going to go underneath Chris, and this seems to be a common thread throughout the first quarter of this race or so. Drivers getting on the outside, losing several positions. So precision racing, critical here if you're going to take home a victory at Indianapolis and finish in the top 10. Chase Berry trying to get back going, but Gardner is going to apply the pressure as they head down into the corner. Braxton Luis not too far behind. Gardner, last week's winner, trying to get back up to the top 5 or so, where we've seen him running much of the early segment of this race, Chris. And Gardner is one of those kind of just sleepy, kind of shadowy drivers that kind of flies under the radar much of the race, but he finds himself up in the top 5 in the closing stages, and almost at Charlotte, we almost saw him eke out a win. And then we did see him get his first victory of the season last week at Las Vegas. So really doing great work in that number 5 car as Braxton Luis looks to work his way by for the 10th position. Down the back stretch as they head down into turn 2 here on lap number 24 of 70.
Yeah, and Chase Berry, going back to talk to him very, very quickly, he is currently on the same set of tires that he started the race on too, I do believe. I think he has made a pit stop for fuel only, so not surprised to see him falling back. That's just, an example right there of those older tires, as we got some shaking and shuffling going on up here around the 5th spot. Randy Bechtel, Evan Pienta, Josh Ward, they were all duking it out right there between turns 3 and 4. It looks like they've all settled down now, and one thing that I want to bring close attention to is Johnny Rapp was in second in front of all these guys, but he has fallen back to the 8th spot, and that leaves Rye Jones close up onto the back bumper of Scotty Sobczak. Scotty Sobczak on the same set of tires that he started the race on, so
yeah, Jones applying the pressure.
We'll see if Jones can make the move here.
Applying the pressure big time in the back of that 81, who's going to get a little bit higher off the exit of that corner as they head down into the next corner.
You can
Jones is going to lose a little bit of ground.
You can see how much deeper Scotty Sobczak is driving it in on corner entry. He's driving it in a lot deeper on corner entry to try to put some space between them, and that's just killing that right front tire.
Here's
and
the pass for the lead.
Yeah.
Rye Jones going inside here, a little bit sideways in the number 91. He's going to get underneath Sobczak, Chris, and I don't know if there's a hole for Sobczak to fill into. Justin Wilson's going to close it up as Bradley goes by for the 2nd position. Wilson goes by for 3rd. The next payday teammate, Randy Bechtel, going to get the opportunity down the backstretch here, and Evan Pienta going to be pushing that 51 car. Is Sobczak's going to lose at least 5 positions here in the span of about half a lap.
Yeah, he is. And we were bringing it up earlier. It's not because of a lack of speed. It's just getting hung out. Like, it's just, there's no grip up there in that 2nd lane. And not only is there no grip, but you are killing the tires running up there. You're just destroying the right front, making it hotter and hotter and hotter.
Very difficult going here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Jacob Bradley, he wants that lead, but he's going to be methodical about it as he rides in 2nd position now, trying to draw up on the back bumper of the 91 as they head down into turn 2 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Justin Wilson in tow. Single file racing, but it is tight single file racing as Rye Jones leads Jacob Bradley by about a car length, who's got a car length over Justin Wilson. And that's kind of the story right now for the top 5 down the back straightaway here. Evan Pienta in 5th, Josh Ward in 6th, Scotty Sobczak about 8 car lengths back from Josh Ward in the 7th position. So this top 5 right now, you could throw a blanket over these guys. Rye Jones, Chris, he is determined. He has not had a win this season, and he is determined to get to victory lane before these final 4 races elapse as the drivers head down the front straightaway. Lap 27 in the books here at Indianapolis. Tight battle going on between Jones and Bradley. I thought Bradley, Chris, might make a move down into 1. A little bit loose on entry for Bradley, but he is going to hold station and wait at least another corner or 2 before he tries to make that pass. Hey, if you are in the YouTube chat or the Twitch chat right now, we cannot say thank you enough. We hope you are enjoying what you are seeing. If that is the case, go ahead and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe on YouTube. It only helps this channel grow and get your favorite drivers out in front of more eyeballs right now. And there are a lot of eyeballs in the stands, the virtual stands right now, but we've got a packed out chat as well as we watch Jacob Bradley try to get by Rye Jones. Doing an admirable job right now of holding his line and keeping that inside line closed for Jacob Bradley, who's now fallen into the clutches of Justin Wilson, his championship adversary here as they head down the front straightaway towards the yard of bricks. Justin Wilson not going to take the opportunity to pass right now.
No, he's not, and you might think, hey, this is a payday, this is a payday train up here at the front. They might, why don't they just ride together in line, save fuel, take it easy, save their tires. But coming up here on lap 31, at the end of lap 31, stage points will be awarded, and I guarantee you they're going to go all out to try to get as many stage points as they can. Justin Wilson sees Jacob Bradley right in front of him and thinks, I got to get around this guy to get these, a couple of stage points on him possibly. So I don't think they're just going to ride here.
Yeah, the difference between stage points, 3 stage points difference between the win and second place. So Jacob Bradley kind of has his eye on an additional 3 points. And when we're talking about a championship battle as tight as this one is, every single point matters. And Jacob Bradley knows that with just 2 laps left in this first part of the race as he awards stage points with no caution on lap 31. So Bradley's got about 2 laps if he's going to get this done. Right now, single file. Top 10 or so. Rye Jones is your leader. Jacob Bradley second. Justin Wilson third. Randy Bechtel having a good run
Josh
in
Ward
that
in the wall.
4th position. Yeah, that 57 got the wall a little bit in turn 1 and 2. Loses a lot of momentum off the corner. That's going to put him into the clutches of Braxton DeWeese, who we see in the chat. I know we've got some DeWeese fans who are saying just pick him off one at a time. Pick them off one at a time. That's all you got to do. And so far, that is what we've seen DeWeese doing. Jacob Bradley a little bit loose into that corner.
Oh, Justin Wilson, this is his chance.
Yeah, Justin Wilson sees the blood in the water, smells it, goes for a second. And right now, if you're Justin Wilson, you're thinking, man, do I take a run at that number 91? Looking at the speed of the last lap, Jones was about a tenth of a second faster than Wilson. I just don't know if Wilson's got the speed to get there in a lap or so as we get ready to award stage points at the end of this lap, number 31. But
it's hard.
Jacob Bradley.
It's hard to make up this much ground in a lap. He's going to try.
Yeah.
He's
going
to
do it.
He's driving hard. He's been sitting back there saving.
Stage point. Yeah, so this could be 4 potential stage points. 4, actually, it might be, yes, actually 4 potential stage points for Justin Wilson, who gets the run down the back straightaway. Wilson going to go for the stage win here, and to get those bonus points, hopefully for Wilson, if you're Wilson, you're hoping Rye Jones can hold off Jacob Bradley, because that's another point in the championship hunt right now as Wilson going to pull it off. He's going to head down the front straightaway, looking like he's going to take home those bonus stage win points. 12 points. He's going to score 4 more points in that stage, Chris, than Jacob Bradley. So right now, raw points, that's going to bring Justin Wilson within 13 points of the championship lead with just 3 races remaining after tonight. So pivotal, kind of really determined action there from the number 58 of Justin Wilson to go ahead and go for the lead. Put himself in a bit of a risky position, but he's going to reap the rewards. What do they say? No pain, no gain. He really made us a little bit nervous there, but he's definitely going to gain those additional bonus points to help him out in the championship right now. Battle behind them, shaping up to be a good one. Randy Bechtel draws up on the back bumper of the 60. Yeah,
Evan Pienta sideways.
A little bit. Yeah, Evan Pienta almost
he's
ran
still
into the back
sideways.
bumper of that 51 off the corner. Evan Pienta really struggling, going to lose a position to Braxton DeWeese, who's going to move his way into the 5th position. DeWeese up about 23 spots, Chris, over the course of the first 32 laps of the race. We're almost to the halfway point here. So DeWeese doing a great job in that 8th.
He is, and what we're seeing now is a little bit of separation between Justin Wilson and the rest of these guys, and that's a familiar sight. That's kind of like what I experienced when I was around Justin the other night in the practice race. At this point in the run, I feel like this is where he sort of separates himself from everybody else at this track. He is just really, really good about 15, 20 laps into a stint. He knows how to pace himself. He knows how to save those tires, hold on to them, and yeah, he's putting some distance between himself and everybody else.
Yeah, doing a great job tonight. Steve McDonald. Oh, Patrick Colby in the wall a little bit down there in turn number 3, I believe.
Oh, he's got some damage.
And number 9, yeah, a lot of damage as he heads down the front straightaway here. Not sure what happened to Colby. I thought he might have tangled with Steve McDonald in the 6th for just a moment.
Oh, he did.
Go back and see what happened there.
And he fought it all the way through turn 3 right there and just couldn't hang on to it. It looked like a late arc. And yeah, he was letting Lucci go, and it's hard to get back to the bottom there, mid corner, down into turn 3.
just a little bit of contact there. Got a little bit loose up off the wall there. That number 9, lucky to not find himself in a worse situation, Patrick Colby we're talking about, than he did there on lap number 34 of 70. We're almost to the halfway mark. Only 2 cautions so far tonight. Justin Wilson is your leader by about half a second over Rye Jones in that number 91. Looking back through the field just a little bit, seeing if we've got any battles going on right now. James Danforth and Kyle Dewey going back and forth in the 20th position. Looks like Dewey holding on to that 20th spot right now, but James Danforth looking to work his way by in that blue and white paint scheme to honor those main shooting victims from several weeks ago. Still running a beautiful paint scheme. Patrick O'Toole going to work his way by. That's not a battle for position. O'Toole is a lap down, hoping to maybe be the first car to lap down when another caution comes out. But right now, we have not seen that caution. You can see those fresh tires on the 44 paying dividends right now. He's got to feel like Superman out there as we watch James Danforth draw up to the back bumper of that number 33. Probably not going to get the run off of this corner. Has to hold the wheel tight not to get the wall down the back straightaway, but going to get a little bit of draft off the number 33, potentially down into turn 2, but just not going to have the pace to get there here on lap number 35. But I feel like I've seen Dewey in almost every single position, Chris, over the course of this race right now. So he's kind of been a master of first through 22nd, 21st right now. But you got to get experience somehow, and he's doing a good job of just holding a tight wheel tonight and kind of, getting a little bit of experience racing a lot of different guys out there. We've got some Dewey fans in the Twitch chat right now. We appreciate them watching. Going to try to hold on to this 20th position from James Danforth, who's had some good runs in recent weeks, looking to maybe get back into the top 20, though, by working his way around the number 33.
Yeah, and another guy who I feel like is doing a really nice job is the driver of the 81 right here, Scotty Sobczak. He is also on the same set of tires that he started the race on. And, when he got shuffled back there, when he got hung out on the outside, he latched onto the back of this pack, and he has not let them get away. He's just sort of held on, and that's exactly what I think he needs to do. As we got Braxton DeWeese looking to make a late pass into turn 1.
Going to jump inside of Randy Bechtel there. Bechtel trying to hold it. DeWeese is going to go up the track. Bechtel's got to do everything he can to keep it out of the wall as they go down to the next corner. DeWeese not letting up. He is going to continue to occupy that bottom line. Bechtel and DeWeese side by side battle for 4th position. Bechtel maybe showing a little bit of displeasure with that number 8 as they head down the back straightaway. DeWeese is going to have the favorable position. Bechtel's going to have to give it up there. Slides back to 5th, but he's going to live to fight another day. DeWeese is going to come up a little bit high off the corner. Thought Bechtel might try to fight back there for that position for just a moment.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to try to cross back over underneath him as Jacob Bradley's going to come to pit road.
Oh, yeah, Jacob Bradley on pit road, lap number 37. This is your 3rd place runner, your championship leader. This is kind of an indicator for me, Chris, that this is what he hopes is his only pit stop the rest of the race. He's come in essentially splitting the race almost in half. He's going to bring several cars, including, I believe, Kyle Dewey and Patrick Colby in with him on this set of pit stops. So Jacob Bradley comes to the attention of his crew, and I wonder if this is going to open up the floodgates for several other drivers, potentially like Justin Wilson and Rye Jones, as well as DeWeese and Bechtel, as they're going to make their way by around the track one more time here.
I guarantee you,
about 32 laps left.
I guarantee you this 81 car is coming. I think that if I was him, I would come this lap. I would not wait. And we're going to see right here, it looks like Evan Pienta is going to pit along with Sobczak.
Sobczak's going to come with him. Sobczak looking to get on the pit road as fast as he can. We've seen him make some mistakes in the past, but that looks like a clean entry. On lap 39, Evan Pienta, Scotty Sobczak going to come down pit road. See if anyone else joins them. Piper in the 38's also going to come down pit road as we cross the line just with about 31 laps left. Justin Wilson is still your leader. And the more laps, Chris, that tick by with these cars coming down pit road, they're going to have some short run speed that's going to allow them to close up. So are we going to see this force the hand of the 58 in the 91 at all?
I think so. I think that they'll probably come either this time or the next time. Just the advantage that you get on the fresh tires here is just so strong. And there's another set of tires in the pits for these guys, so they can afford to go ahead, and Wilson's going to stay out, but Jones is going to hit the pit road.
Yep, that number 91 of Ryan Jones going to come down pit road looking for his first win of the Slingshot Racing League Apex Energy season. Lap number 39, turning over into 40 here. Wesley Pistol also going to come down pit road. Tony Caputo in front of them. Tony's a couple of laps down, just looking to eke out a finish here. Several other drivers going to come down pit road as well. Johnny Rapp on pit road for the second time tonight. Justin Wilson still out on the track, though. Braxton DeWeese up to second. Randy Bechtel third. So I just wonder if some of these cars are hoping for a caution. Justin Wilson, DeWeese, Randy Bechtel, Josh Ward, they're all out on 27-lap old tires right now as we watch some of these cars like Patrick Piper on fresh tires work their way around the leader. And Chris, just looking at that last lap, Braxton DeWeese and Justin Wilson ran almost identical times. So DeWeese is definitely...
DeWeese is pitting.
Oh, yep, there's the number 8 of DeWeese coming down pit road. Justin Wilson continues to stay out on the track. Jeremy Gardner coming in as well. What's the pit strategy here? What's Justin Wilson thinking about by staying out as long as he is here?
Well, when we come back, when we come back from these pit stops here, at the very end of them, you're not going to see that big pack that you saw everybody in. You're going to see a couple cars here, then, one car, big separation, maybe a couple other cars. You're not going to see everybody running.
Car into the wall in the backstretch for a moment, it looked like. I saw some smoke.
Evan Pienta.
Hard contact. Yellow flag is out, and Justin Wilson probably not going to be in a position he wants, Chris. Several drivers going to be in a bad position here. This is going to change the landscape of the race. Caution on lap 41. Evan Pienta, Chris, just got in the wall.
Got it crossed up. Yep.
It looks like.
He got it all crossed up there, coming off of 2. We'll follow along with him right here. Actually, we'll ride on board with him. Yeah, just ran out of space right there and overcorrected and locked it down, slid to the inside right here. And don't know exactly when the caution drew. But yeah, he got it back going again here.
So I think the guys that this favors the most are probably starting with Jacob Bradley. The cars in the top 6, like Wilson, Bechtel, Ward, Lucci, McDonald, and Johnson, all had stayed out. And they weren't able to lap any cars, so that's going to mean when these cars come into pit, as undoubtedly I would imagine they would, they're going to lose a lot of track position there. So the top 6 really going to be the losers on this caution, so to speak. On lap number 42 of 70 with just 28 laps remaining in this race, Chris. Wilson coming along the line now, coming into turn 1, rather.
Yeah, I think that he's going to wind up restarting, if he comes off pit road the first one. He will come off probably around the 11th spot. So, I think that this is just an unfortunate break for these guys here who are going to find themselves anywhere from 11th to 17th. Once it all shakes out.
So those top 3, 4, 5, 6 cars, including Sean Johnson, they're coming down. They're going to be, you mentioned it, they're going to drop like rocks here. But if there is any saving grace, they're going to have the freshest tires as the rest of the race kind of progresses. I don't know if it's going to be enough to really make a difference. Just trying to find some silver lining here for these guys. And hey, as we watch this, Chris, I do have a kind of a trivia question for you. Which I'm just going to test, and this is actually, let's open it up for everybody in the chat right now. We are going to give away a die-cast car, a Chase Briscoe throwback paint scheme, and I'm curious if you or anyone in the chat, all you have to do to enter to get this, to be entered in to win this free die-cast, literally just type any answer you want into the chat. You can just be a guess. You might know it, you might not. We're not going to go with the winner of who gets the correct answer. We're going to go with a random draw from everyone who gives us an answer in the chat. But the question is, who was the first driver to win 2 major races at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in a single year?
The first driver to win 2 races at Indianapolis in 1 year.
In 1 year. First driver to win 2 races at Indianapolis in 1 year.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
And they both had to be in the same year.
That's a really tough one because there's a lot of things that race at Indy now. You know, you've got, you got the Indy, the 500, of course. You've also got, the road course race there 2 weeks prior to the 500.
Yeah.
You got IMSA races there as well now. So,
hey, you know what? Let's give a hint away. Let's throw up a graphic of what fans can win if they give us a answer in the chat. It doesn't have to be the right answer. We're going to just choose from someone who attempts to answer. We like people who attempt. Okay, so let us know who the only driver to win at 2 races, the first driver to win 2 races in a single year at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Okay, this is the car we're giving away. Chase Briscoe throwback paint scheme. Getting several answers. I'm seeing Jimmy Johnson, Cale Yarbrough. Got a Tony Stewart answer in there. Got another Tony Stewart answer. Simon Pagenaud got an answer in. Another Tony Stewart, Steve Bradley says. Matt Scherf Racing says Simon Pagenaud. Several good answers we are getting here. We'll give some more time for this to play out. Let us know who you think is the only and first driver to win 2 races at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the same year. We'll revisit that answer in a moment, see who's going to win the diecast. Looks like we've called off the restart there. I'm not sure if we had a restart issue or not.
We had a lot of drivers take the waiver round right there.
Okay.
Drivers who pit. And so with this being as colossal of a track as it is, it's our race controller, Sam Maxwell, I think wisely has decided to wait until one more lap so that we have a more full lineup as we take the green flag. Lee Campbell all the way at the back of this. Matt Kuntz is leading everybody else here off of turn 4, and they're just now at the start-finish line.
Doing a really good job here of Sam Maxwell doing a really good job here, making sure everyone gets in the right starting position, and we can kind of set the field accordingly for this restart. Answer is Tony Stewart to that trivia question. Looking at through the entries, several of you got it right. We said it wasn't going to be about who got it right, though, so congratulations if you got it right. The winner tonight, though, drawn randomly from those entries, Doug Middendorf. You are the winner. And I think Doug actually said Tony Stewart. He said A.J. Foyt. Good try. Close enough. So Tony Stewart's racing hero is A.J. Foyt.
So Tony Stewart won. I'm just trying to. I know he won the Brickyard 400. I'm just trying to figure out what else he won at Indy.
I believe he won an IndyCar divisional. An IndyCar. He's not won the Indy 500 race, but I believe he won a lower tier series at Indianapolis. So my facts tell me, but are you questioning my answer?
I question that one. I'm a little bit curious about that one. Yeah.
All right, we'll dig into the stats a little bit, see if we can find which 2 races he won here momentarily. But right now, all attention is on the leaders. Jacob Bradley is your leader. Scotty Sobczak second. Bradley in the 60 is the control car. Chase Berry, great restart on the back bumper of that number 60. He's going to jump to second place and push Bradley out there. Scotty Sobczak going to be third. Rye Jones to his outside. Johnny Rapp also on the outside. Wesley Pistol for the first time tonight into the top 5 as he works his way underneath the 52 of Johnny Rapp. They've got Braxton Deweese right behind them. That battle is back. Oh, cars in the wall. Randy Bechtel, Josh Ward. Hard contact out of turn 2. Yellow is out. I believe that was the 51 of Randy Bechtel and Josh Ward.
Yeah, we'll go back and we'll see what happened here. Randy Bechtel, a lot of damage. Josh Ward's already towed back to the pits. 3 wide on entry to 2 there, and looks like some contact between the 5 and the 57 is what triggered all that.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Jeremy
we'll go
Gardner
all the
right
way
in the middle of it.
We'll go all the way back here. This is a really aggressive pass here by Josh Ward. 3 wide on entry to 1. That's just hard to do here. It's just really, really hard to do. And they stay 3 wide, and they're still 3 wide. And then, yeah, it looks like just, Jeremy Gardner just hooked Josh Ward in the right rear. We'll sort of look at this from overhead to give everybody a little bit of a better perspective here. Josh Ward is also up the track a little bit here into, he doesn't quite go down. Look at the cars ahead. They're aiming towards the bottom, towards that white line. Josh is just up a little bit more. Jeremy Gardner's trying to give room to, Randy Beckton on the outside, and they just come together.
Unfortunate circumstances on lap 46. Caution is out, and I'm curious to see if we have any takers on pit road. I suspect that we won't. Everyone should be good to go. I'm just looking right now. But yeah, we've got drivers on 9-lap old tires. Chase Berry, Jacob Bradley, Scotty Sobczak. Do you think we're going to see any takers here?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that these guys up front have the track position that they want. I would be shocked if they came to pit road here, but we'll see.
All right, we will see, and I'm looking right now. Doesn't look like anyone in the top 10 is going to come down. So at this moment, we are going to jump away for a break to hear from our partners at UD Award, who made the championship trophy that Jacob Bradley and Justin Wilson are chasing. And hey, Doug Mindorf, real quick note, that email address should be ssracingleagues@gmail.com. ssracingleagues@gmail.com. We'll be back on the other end of this break. How do we get these one-of-a-kind amazing trophies? Well, we were fortunate to find UD Awards when we started our league. We reached out and we connected with Christopher, and we got started designing these one-of-a-kind works of art. The process was easy from start to finish. After just a few revisions, we finalized each one of them, and the team at UD got to work building each trophy from scratch. They're a small team, but they've got the ability to do just about anything your brain can imagine. And don't worry, if you're not an artist, they've got an entire catalog of unique trophies in pretty much any material you can imagine. Wood, acrylic, glass, and in the case of last season's trophy, metal. The best part, they're affordable. If you're looking for a trophy for your event or league, the choice is simple. UD Awards can give you exactly what you want. All right, back here in Speedway, Indiana, Jacob Bradley is your leader in the Evan Pienta Designs Brickyard 175. Suspect we'll be getting the 1 to go here, and we're going to have a restart with about 20 laps left. Jacob Bradley, your leader. Chase Berry, second. Scotty Sobczak, who was the class of the field for the first 20 laps or so of the race, jumping out to over a second lead, is going to be in the third position. Ryan Jones, who we've also seen be pretty formidable tonight, is going to be fourth. Wesley Pistol in fifth. Johnny Rapp in sixth. And then Braxton DeWeese in his second race of the Slingshot Racing season is going to be in the seventh position. Justin Wilson, second place in the points. Your stage one winner is going to be eighth. Patrick Piper, ninth. Nick Lucci is rounding out your top 10. Drivers getting reset here for a restart with about 20 laps to go, Chris. We have seen some intense side-by-side racing, but we haven't seen any, if all, three-wide racing all night long until that caution came out on lap 47. So hopefully these drivers, I know that intensity is going to pick up just a little bit, but we saw it right there. Three wide is not going to work in a stock car here into these tight corners around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So drivers going to have to be cognizant of it in these closing laps, no matter how much you want to win. I guess on the last lap, all bets very well might be off. But right now, drivers going to have to be careful as they try to sort it out amongst themselves here with about 20 laps to go. Pace car rolling into turn 4 now. Going to get ready to duck off pit road in just a moment. Jacob Bradley is going to be your control car. The advantage there is that Bradley gets to master throttle first and then decide when the rest of the field goes. So Bradley bringing him down here. Pace car going to peel off. 60 is going to mash the throttle and unleash those horses one more time. Third restart of the race. Jacob Bradley jumps out to a bit of a lead on Chase Berry. Rye Jones trying to gain third position on Scotty Sobczak, but Sobczak's got that inside line. Another tight battle. Justin Wilson and Wesley Pistol back there in 7th position. Couple of side-by-side battles right now on this restart. Wilson's going to drive it hard down there into turn number 2.
DeWeese in the grass.
DeWeese in the grass. Rye Jones sideways. Several cars going all over the place here. We mentioned the intensity and energy is definitely picking up here.
Justin Wilson driving hard through this traffic right here, trying to get some track position back.
Wilson up to 4th position, doing his best to get track position back to stay in the championship hunt. Jacob Bradley, the points leader, is in 1st place right now, so Wilson cannot afford to give up any more spots if he is to stay in the hunt for the final 3 races of the season. Right now, Johnny Rapp and Braxton DeWeese side by side, going down into one here just a moment for the 8th position. DeWeese has the optimal position. He's going to bring Nick Lucci behind him to pass the 52. Johnny Rapp going to lose a couple of positions over the course of about half a lap here. Now DeWeese in the 8 has his eyes set on the number 7, that orange and white University of Tennessee Volunteers car of Wesley Pistol, who's got about 2 car lengths up to the 91 in front of him of Rye Jones as they head down the back straightaway. Lap number 51 of 70. Just about 19 laps left here from Indy for the Slingshot Racing League in the Apex Energy Series.
Yeah, circling back to Jacob Bradley, that caution that came out that, trapped Justin Wilson deep in the field, that might be we might look back at that as, a championship deciding event when we get to the end of the season here. That could have been something that, that gave Jacob Bradley track position over Justin Wilson. But, if Justin Wilson can work his way past these guys, it's going to be a moot point.
Yeah, Justin Wilson doing an admirable job. Really the big loser on that caution, but he's working his way back up, trying to get to 3rd. Right now, battle with Scotty Sobczak down the backstretch. Wilson trying to draw a bead on the back end of that 81. Not going to happen down into 3. They're both chasing down Chase Berry at the same time, so Wilson just trying to break even here, especially if Jacob Bradley goes on to finish 1st or 2nd. Wilson's going to get the spot here on the 81 of Scott Sobczak. He's got that optimal line on the inside. Sobczak's going to give it up down the front straightaway. Justin Wilson, you can see almost going down to the wall for that inside position, but he's going to drift back up to the track as they cross the line. Going to go down into turn number 1 in the 3rd position now, setting his sights on Chase Berry and Jacob Bradley. Right now, Chase Berry hasn't let Jacob Bradley get out too far, about 6-7 car lengths for the number 60 right now, who's the benefactor of that last caution, got him to track position.
Yeah,
these drivers have kind of settled it out. Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, while this was going on, we saw Braxton DeWeese get around Wesley Pistol, move up into the 6th spot. Now he's looking to make a pass on Rye Jones right here for the 5th spot, putting a lot of pressure on the driver of the 91.
Yeah, we mentioned single file racing a lot tonight, beside a couple of 2 wide incidents that put us under caution, but the racing has been tight. Say what you will about single file racing. These cars have been on each other's back bumpers all night long. Watching this battle for 5th position is a great reminder of that. You've also got that battle going on right behind them between the 7 and the 96 of Nick Lucci and Wesley Pistol, kind of flaring up right behind them. That is battle for the 7th position as we watch DeWeese continue to work on the 91 of Rye Jones. Wesley Pistol doing a good job of vaulting himself up into the top 5 on those pit stops. Lucci going to take advantage of that high racing line on the number 7 Wesley Pistol. He's going to move into the 7th position in his very first Slingshot Racing League start in that number 96. I know he's good buddies with Evan Pienta as well as Tony Caputo and Jacob Bradley, who all go to Purdue University here in Indianapolis. So yeah, those drivers doing a great job tonight.
Let's give Nick a call right here. We saw him falling back early in the race. Hung out on the outside a couple times. Didn't ruffle any feathers. I think he drove everybody very respectful, and here he is working his way forward here in the closing 15 laps.
Yeah, not in a bad position at all. Johnny Rapp really loose down into one, though, find himself in a bad position with Jeremy Gardner to his inside. This is a battle for the 9th position. Gardner has that optimal line to the inside, seeing if he can keep Johnny Rapp up the track as they head through turn 2 on the backstretch. Rapp is going to surrender that position, that ninth position, to Jeremy Gardner as they head down the back straight. Right now, as we watch Braxton DeWeese battle for 5th on the outside of Ryan
this
Jones.
is hard to do.
This is really hard to do. If he's going to get the momentum, he's got to hold a pretty wheel off the corner. He's going to have to get out of the throttle a little bit, take it down into turn 3, though.
I think the only way
get the momentum off the corner.
The only way you can complete that pass is Lucci's going to make it 3 wide. You have to pinch that driver on the inside as Lucci's going to try to get 3
wide down
here.
into turn 1. I don't know if this is the way to go. Ryan Jones is going to be the first one to blink. Battle of chicken as they head down to turn 1. Chris, that was an aggressive move as we saw Nick Lucci try to, like you mentioned, grab 2 positions with 1 as they head down to the backstretch. Lucci's got a fast car here in this number sign 96. It has come alive these last couple of laps.
And that 3 wide move that Lucci made actually gave DeWeese the opportunity to clear those guys and move up into the 5th spot. So, that outside move, while it looked a little bit suspect early, he is going to be able to move up into the 5th spot. So we'll see if he's able to drive away from these guys or if he made his tires angry there for that lap that he was on that top lane.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier in the race, drivers running on the outside for more than a corner or so could really anger those tires and cause them some grief, at least for a couple of laps, till they get it settled out, seeing if Braxton DeWeese is going to get it settled out. I'm not sure if he is, because as soon as we say that, Nick Lucci shows a nose down into 1. He's not going to try to make the pass that time by, but kind of indicating to Braxton DeWeese, look, I think I've got the faster car here, so be on the lookout for me to try to pass here in the next couple of laps. Looks like he's going to run a slightly different corner. I'm curious if we can go on board here for just a moment. I know we've got another battle actually going for the number.
This is for the 3rd spot. Yeah,
Sobczak and Barry.
A lot's happened here while we were watching that battle. Justin Wilson has cleared Barry, moved up into the 2nd spot, and is trying to chase down Jacob Bradley, while Scotty Sobczak's gotten around Barry.
Yeah, so a couple of big moves here late in the race. Justin Wilson, just a couple of laps ago, was running in the 4th position. He's now up to 2nd. He's going to get a good run off that corner. And that last lap, they were essentially even. We'll see what the lap time comes across this time. That time by Chris, Justin Wilson, nearly 3.5 to 4 tenths faster. Great battle forecast we got here from Pierce Graphics. These insights from Christopher Pierce and Pierce Graphics. 2 laps, overtake projected in 2 laps, Chris. There are 12 laps remaining, so we know that can change at any point as we see Jacob Bradley probably looking in the mirror, might amp up the speed just a little bit, might have been taking it easy for a couple of laps there until he got the message that Justin Wilson, that number 58, was coming. This is a battle between championship leaders for 1st and 2nd. Jacob Bradley is the points leader. Justin Wilson gained about 17 points last week at Las Vegas as Bradley found himself the victim of an early caution. Justin Wilson is now just about 2 car lengths from the back of Jacob Bradley. You can see Bradley snake it down to the inside there to try to eliminate the benefit of the draft for Justin Wilson, but it's going to cost him some speed. That time by Justin Wilson, within a car length, he's still about 2 tenths faster, and you can see that number 58, Chris, is just getting through the corners just a little bit better than number 58, Justin Wilson, to the inside of Jacob Bradley. He's going to make it happen. Off of turn 2, down the back straightaway, pass for the lead. Jacob Bradley back to 2nd, Justin Wilson to the lead. He's going to drift down there towards the apron. And just like that, within about 5 laps, Chris, Justin Wilson goes from about 5th or 4th place to the lead, but things are not calming down. I know we've seen that battle for the lead kind of simmer down, at least for the last half a lap or so, but the battle for 4th and 5th is intensifying between Braxton DeWeese and Chase Berry. And as soon as I say that, DeWeese is going to get Berry and move on by. Lucci still looking to get by DeWeese, but he's going to have to go through now the 17 of Chase Berry for 4th position before that he is going to have actually 5th position here. Lucci working on the inside, down into turn 1. Lucci gains the 5th position from Chase Berry there. He's going to set his eyes back on Braxton DeWeese. Scotty Sobczak, Chris, closing on the back bumper of the number 60 now. Jacob Bradley, has he driven his tires off a little bit early here?
It's possible. We'll have to watch these next couple laps right here. I think that, watching the 58 all night long tonight has maybe given us like a a false reading on the rest of the field. I think that Justin Wilson's just so much quicker than everybody else on the long run. Like, it's not even close. I mentioned in the pre-race how that you would see more lap time differentials like between the fast guys and even the guys that are just back half of the top 10. You know, this is, a very tough track with 4 distinct corners, 4 distinct ends. And I think that's what you're seeing right here. Justin Wilson can afford to take it a little bit easy, I think, here, and maybe save those tires for, maybe a late race restart here as, Sobczak looks like he is gaining on Jacob Bradley here. We'll actually pull up the battle forecast to see how they looked at last time. Yeah, about 0.2 quicker. So the battle for second is on.
Yeah, Scotty Sobczak drawing up closer on the back bumper of Jacob Bradley. About 3 laps now, what we are projecting is going to take for Jacob Bradley to slide back into the clutches of Scotty Sobczak in the number 81. Great insights here from Pierce Graphics, who's just a really valuable tool to be able to understand just how much quicker drivers are than the guys in front of them, and vice versa. As we ride on board here, the onboard cam, the hollow view cam from Scotty Sobczak. Great opportunity to see the roll speed through the corner, Chris, and just see how much faster that number 81 is getting through these corners than the guys in front of him.
Yeah, well, watch it right here down into this gives you a really good idea of seeing the line right there. You see Jacob, he's sliding a little bit there as he, he tried to drive through the slide. That's something you can do right there off of 2, but you will lose a little bit of ground, as we can see. Scotty Sobczak has made up 0.2 on this lap alone.
And Chris, one thing I want to say, that 81 last time by was about 1/10 quicker than Justin Wilson. The third place car of Scotty Sobczak is coming, and he's got to get through the 60 of Jacob Bradley first if he is going to get to the lead and steal a win away from Justin Wilson. Just about 8 laps left to do it if it's going to happen here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Slingshot Racing League and the Apex Energy Series. I'm Ellis Thomas in the booth, joined by Chris Smith. If you're just joining us, we have a battle shaping up for the win between 3 cars. But Chris, as soon as I say that, in my peripherals, I see Nick Lucci making a move under Braxton DeWeese for the 4th position. He has got a car that time by, Chris, was the fastest car on track. The number 96 in his Slingshot Racing debut is the fastest car by over 1/10 right now. So 8 laps left, and it is undecided. If you're in
battle
the chat
for second
right now, let us know who's going to win. As Scotty Sobczak ducks underneath the 60, he's going to set his eyes on the number 58 of Justin Wilson, Chris. And one thing I will say, between first and second, both of these drivers are Dash for Cash drivers. $50 on the line for the driver who finishes in front of the other tonight. And if one of those drivers can win the race, they're not just going to take home $25, they're going to double it and take home $50 in that Apex Energy Dash for Cash program. Justin Wilson right now is going to be sitting on that $50, but Scotty Sobczak is going to have something to say about that here in the closing laps. That time by, Justin Wilson was less than 1/10 faster, so pretty evenly matched between the 58 and the 81 of Wilson and Sobczak. It's about 10 car lengths now that separate the leaders as they head down the backstretch with just about 7 to go. Man, I don't know who I think the favorite is here. I know we've got some folks rooting for Justin Wilson in the chat. We've got some DeWeese fans who's now back to 5th, now looking like it's going to happen, at least a victory tonight. But top 4 drivers, I'm just looking at speeds that time by. Justin Wilson was fastest, but we're going to get a new reading this time around.
We're going to have a battle for third here. This 96 car is really rotating well through the center of the corner. You see how he closed up on the exit of 4 right there, all the way to the back bumper of Jacob Bradley. Jacob's going to have his hands full with Nick Lucci.
Yeah, this 96 of Lucci is rolling through that center of the corner very well, and if he doesn't get a run off of turn 1, it's likely he's going to try to set it up off of turn 2 to make that pass. You can see him give Bradley a little bit of space. There it is. He rolls really well, and Bradley is going to have his hands full with the 96, Chris. That time by, Lucci was 1/10 faster than Justin Wilson. So that number 96 is up and moving here in the final 3 laps. He has found life in the final portion of this race after running in the top 6 or 7 early. Lucci, after dropping back early, is back to the 3rd position. He's going to chase down Scotty Sobczak. That time by, Scotty Sobczak was just a hair faster than Wilson, and Lucci was faster than both of them, Chris. So time running out with 6 laps, now 5 laps left here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Which of these Slingshot Racing League drivers is going to etch their name into the history books? We got 5 laps left to settle it, and $50 on the line between the top 2 if one of those drivers wins. So Scott Sobczak doing everything he can to chase down that purple back bumper of Justin Wilson, who is going to benefit greatly in the championship standings. We're probably going to see at least another 4 or 5 point swing to bring Justin Wilson close to 10 points shy of the championship lead with 3 races remaining, Chris. So Justin Wilson sitting really pretty right now, but Sobczak looking to upset that.
He is. He's not letting him get away, but what you run into here at Indianapolis is as you get closer and closer, as Wilson slides it there off of turn 4, as you get closer and closer to that driver in front of you, you start to develop that aero push. You start to get a little bit tighter, a little bit tighter. And so if I'm Scotty Sobczak, what I want to do is I want to try to get just slightly lower than Justin Wilson in the corners. Try to put a little bit of air on that left front headlight to see if I can get just a little bit more turn in the center of the corner. The problem with that is, if you notice Justin Wilson's line, he's not giving him that. Justin Wilson is running right down there on the bottom. He is right there on that curbing on the inside that will sometimes upset the car, but it will make your car turn a little bit better if you can hit it just right. And Justin's doing a nice job of that, but Scotty Sobczak is closing.
He is closing. Sobczak was about 3/4 of a tenth faster than Wilson that time, Chris, but the fastest car on the track remains that number 96 of Nick Lucci, but he's running out of time with just 3 laps to go. It looks like it's going to be settled between the top 2, who are also not only going to be racing it out for the win, but they're going to be racing it out for $50 here. 3 laps left. Scotty Sobczak, that time by, was a tenth and a half faster. He is now the fastest car on the track. That 81, Chris, is coming with a head of speed, doing everything he can to stay out necessarily the tire tracks of Justin Wilson to avoid that aero push you mentioned. I saw him get just a little bit of it there, it looked like, through turn number 2 onto the back straightaway.
Yeah, he slid off of turn 1 though, there in the short chute between turns 1 and turns 2. But he never lifted off the gas. He lost a slight bit of ground there, but he never lifted off the gas. Tried to maintain that gap right there. See him back up his engine. Car just, it's really tight. It's just really tight as he gets, when you get into that 1/4 of a second range right there at this track, it just gets so very tight.
And I think that's probably the same difficulty Nick Lucci is facing back there in the 3rd position. 2 laps to go. Next time is going to be the white flag. If you're liking what you're seeing here on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe also if you haven't done so. Let us know you're enjoying this amazing racing action here in the closing stages of the Evan Pienta Designs Brickyard 175. The battle right now between Wilson and Sobczak. It's about 6 car lengths back to that red, white, and blue Pine Mountain Auto Mustang. He's chasing down Justin Wilson, who's looking to also chase down the championship lead in points and win $50. A couple of people saying, go number 7 in the chat. We got a Wesley Pistol fan. He's back there, but he's not up in this action right now as it is intensifying. As Scotty Sobczak that time by was a little bit slower than Justin Wilson. Right now, it is going to come down to the last lap. If Scotty Sobczak has anything for the driver, the number 58, Justin Wilson, he's going to have to show it now. One time by. Next time they cross the line, it is going to be for the checkered flag and for the win. Justin Wilson is your leader. Headed down into 1. Sobczak going to do everything he can to try to draw a bead on that number 58. Justin Wilson just continues to try to run his line. We see him run a little bit high and wide outside of turn 1, back down into turn 2. He's going to be set up for a better run down to the apron there and see if he can coast away from Scotty Sobczak on the backstretch. It doesn't look like Sobczak, pending any sort of mistake by Wilson, is going to have anything for the driver of the number 58. Wilson drives it down into turn number 3 now, just a half a lap away for Wilson to win the Indy Brickyard 175 presented by Evan Pienta Designs. Heads down into turn 4 in that white, green, and purple Parrot Head Chevrolet, inches his way towards the line. Justin Wilson is going to win the Brickyard 175. Scotty Sobczak going to be second. Nick Lucci in his Slingshot Racing League debut going to bring home a respectable third place finish. I know our Braxton DeWeese fans in the chat will be glad to know he brought home fourth. He was able to get by Jacob Bradley in the closing laps. Chris, this is going to be a championship race shakeup. Is Justin Wilson is probably going to pick up at least 7 or 8 points on Jacob Bradley in the standings, if not more tonight. We'll have live points here later on, but right now, all eyes on Justin Wilson as he crosses the line. Brilliant in that final stretch of the race, Chris. Managed his tires to perfection.
Yeah, and, you brought up the points as well. Let's not forget, Justin Wilson in his charge there at the end of lap 31 grabbed maximum stage points. So, that wound up, being a big points gain, big points night for Justin tonight, as it just makes the championship battle all the more interesting as we get closer and closer to the end of the season.
Championship battle intensifying. We're going to try to get these top 3 drivers into the broadcast booth here in just a moment to hear from all 3 of your top 3 finishers. See some extracurriculars going down there on pit road with Chase Berry. We're going to hear from Nick Luce in the 3rd position. First, we'll go ahead and bring him into the broadcast booth. Nick Luce, this is Ellis and Chris in the Slingshot broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
And it's Lucci, I should say, not Luce. We went over this. We practiced the Gucci way to remember it. And man, it was a Gucci type of performance tonight for you. We thought for a moment in those closing laps that you were going to have a shot at the victory. For several laps ticking by in the final 6 or 7, you had the fastest car on track. We saw you kind of have an up and down evening. Walk us through kind of your progression over the course of the race, what some kind of the highs and lows were.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just came in, obviously I came in at the back 3/4 of the season, so I didn't really want to mess around with the point scenario in qualifying. So qualified mid-pack, and then we had those first couple cautions, and just decided to save tire, and then finally got on that last set of mine at lap 40, and then just said, screw it, we're going to go to the front and see what happens. And we drove up to 3rd, and for a second I thought that we were going to have a shot if both Scotty and Justin got with each other, but no, they both drove a really good race. Hats off to this entire league. This is a really good group of guys to race with. Hopefully I'll be in here next week.
Yeah, man, we would love to have you. We're glad you chose to join us, even for a few races. Final latter part of the season. You had a great evening. You mentioned there kind of on the closing laps, you were just hoping that those drivers kind of maybe found each other and kind of gave yourself an opening. It didn't happen, but man, were you kind of envisioning it? What were you thinking about potentially if you had gotten up there? What would you have done for the win?
Obviously, I would try to make it obviously really clean. I obviously don't really want to wreck anyone, especially someone like Justin or Scotty who are racing Jacob for a points championship right now. So, I don't know. The opportunity would have had to have really shown itself for me to try to go for the win. But it wasn't in the cards for us today. And honestly, I really didn't think a top 10 was in the cards for us after that first caution. After I just topped off with fuel, we restarted 7th and then drove, and then we fell like a rock, and then we decided to start going a little bit after we saved the right front for a decent portion, and drove back up to 10th. And then after that last caution, we bolted on a set of tires and we just said, screw it, we're going to go for it. But yeah, as you said, obviously I would like to race for a win with these group of guys. This is obviously a really good and really talented group, but it would have had to been Scotty and Justin moving each other for me to get by them.
And you did a good job. And one brief thing I do want to ask about was that 3 wide move down the back straightaway. I can't remember the exact laps remaining when it happened. You kind of took it 3 wide there to pick up a couple of positions at once. How nervous were you taking it down the inside?
Kind of very, to be honest with you. I wasn't going to lie. I felt that, obviously I was going to play by the IndyCar rules in terms of etiquette. I was going to back out, and then, Chase backed out there at about the 200-foot mark, and I just said, screw it, we're going to go for it. Luckily, I didn't take Braxton out. Obviously, we were both racing each other pretty hard there. But, no, as I said, thanks for the opportunity. This is a really good group of guys.
Yeah, man. We'd be glad to have you back. Any shout-outs before we let you go?
I want to shout out Evan for giving me kind of the insider scoop on this race going. That's really about it. Obviously, hats off to Justin and Scotty. They both drove amazing races. Hats off to everyone else. Yeah, for the 5th or 6th time, this is just a really good group, and I'm just happy with a 3rd.
Oh man, congratulations! Enjoy it, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yep, take care, guys.
All right, Nick Lucci, everybody. All right, so that is the 3rd place finisher. Scotty Sobczak is your 2nd place finisher. He had a hot rod in the closing laps. We're going to bring him in to the booth and let Chris talk to him all about it.
Scotty Sobczak, this is Slingshot Booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
Hey, man, we saw you all night. Started up front and ran up front all night long. It only took one pit stop for you to bring home a 2nd place finish. You happy with the result tonight?
Yes and no. I mean, I think it was one of those situations where I had a pretty good shot to win. I thought I had probably some of the best long run speed out there as far as saving the tires and being able to show up on lap 25 through 30 or so. And we only got 1 or 2 of those types of runs. So not pitting early on, I think with everybody else around lap 11 or so kind of hurt. That probably would have put us out front on the same cycle as everybody else. But, you know, we'll take a 2nd, and that'll be good enough for tonight.
Yeah, we were talking about that move right there. It looks like you just kind of got hung out right there. You stayed out. You were the leader, kind of a sit and duck type of situation. But you maintained really nicely. I think, Ellis and I were talking about that. It just spoke to your long run pace, and that showed up there at the end when you made your charge there. It looked like when you got to about that 1/4 of a second, area, gap behind Justin, that's kind of like where the handling of the car goes away a little bit. Is that what you experienced?
Yeah, it was started to get a little bit tight, and you kind of have to be a little bit faster to get around somebody here and get that run to the inside. And there's a couple times I was able to kind of get a good exit and catch right up to him, and then I think with 2 or 3 to go, I kind of clipped the wall, and it really killed the momentum. And I knew that if I had a chance, I was going to have to dive to the inside really, really low and be aggressive with it. I just didn't quite get that chance.
Well, hey, man, you still had a great result, a great finish. Any shout-outs that you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, man, baby Junebug upstairs, Alex, Figs, Remy, Pie Mountain Auto Supply for being the sponsor in the car, you guys for broadcasting. I think Sam Maxwell for being race control. He needs some love as well. I'd like to shout him out and calling the cautions, calling the race. So appreciate everybody that's involved.
All right, that's Scotty Sobczak, our 2nd place finisher. Hey, Scotty, go celebrate this result, bud.
Got it. Whiskey by the fireplace. Here we go.
Nice. All right, so that was your 2nd place finisher. Now we're going to hear from your winner, Justin Wilson. This is Ellis and Chris in the Slingshot broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Of course.
Man, we thought it was we never counted you out, but when that caution came out, that kind of put you in a real bad spot as you kind of stretched your tires a little bit late in that run, and then got the caution that fell just kind of right where you did not need it to. Talk to us about kind of your mentality when that caution fell that kind of put you in a bad position, tire-wise, or pit stop-wise, I should say.
I mean, when the caution came out, I was probably about 5-6 laps from pitting. I knew I was going to pit with 25 to go, but it definitely changed perspective when it came out, and I think it was like 11th or 12th, and I said, man, this sucks. I just finally got to where I wanted to be, and and I knew I had to be aggressive to get up there, because once the tires started to fall off, it was really hard to pass. I'm glad the race ended when it did, because I burnt my stuff up trying to get up there and maintain once I got past Jacob. But Scott and Nick, I know they were high coming up quick behind me, because they were about a 10th a lap faster, knowing that I was going to burn my stuff up. And they were right, but thankfully the race ended when it did.
Yeah, man, I think you might have had a handful if we had gone a few more laps between Scotty and that number 96. Nick Lucci was also coming first time racing with us all season. So, we were glad to see a clean battle for the win there at the end, but we saw some drivers racing aggressively early. We saw you, not necessarily in any of those aggressive battles, but we saw you work your way up through the field after that kind of cataclysmic pit cycle that put you back in. Where did you restart in that? Was that 7th or 8th that you restarted, or further back?
I think it was further back.
Okay.
I was getting tired of being back there because of
it definitely showed. It definitely showed with some of the aggressive maneuvers that you made, and it felt like over the course of about 2 laps, we looked away from you for a minute, and then we turned back, and you had worked your way all the way up to second place. So that's how quick you were moving out there tonight, man. This is going to bring you pretty close to the championship lead, or at least within 10 points. We haven't run the exact numbers yet. But I think it's definitely going to have an impact. These 3 remaining tracks on the schedule, I'm just looking at them now. I'm curious what your thoughts are in terms of any challenges that might lie ahead for you. We've got Nashville Superspeedway, Richmond, and then the championship finale in Miami. Are any of those kind of races that you're looking at as going to be excessively challenging?
Miami. I've never really done well there. And it happens to be the last race, which kind of sucks. But Richmond, I'm looking forward to. I tend to do really well there. I like that track. And Nashville, I've only ran there like maybe once with, and I remember racing with Aaron, and we did pretty well there. So we'll see how it goes. I know it's going to be a tough track, and with a tough field. I mean, everybody here is really fast. So we'll see how these last few play out, and hopefully the luck goes in our favor, like it's been for the last couple weeks.
Absolutely. You've had a great string of luck and just a great string of performance. It's not necessarily luck. You've had some great races. You've capitalized on some mistakes that have been made. But, hey, elephant in the room here, I got to pay you $50 because you are the Dash for Cash winner. You finished in the top 6 last week, and you are $50 richer now because not only did you finish the highest out of those qualifying drivers, but you also won the race. So $50, what do you think you're going to do with it?
Oh, man, I completely forgot about that.
Oh, my gosh.
So determined on winning the race. I didn't even.
Well,
I didn't
it's
even
an
think about
added bonus. What
Man,
are you
just-
going to spend it on?
Man, we're going to Disney World, man.
$50 might buy you a soda at Disney World. Hate to break it to you. You can probably buy a drink in Margaritaville, though.
There we go. Sounds like a
All
great idea. You guys
All right, man. Congratulations. Great job, Justin Wilson, tonight. We're going to let you go celebrate that with your team. But before we do it, any shout-outs?
Of course, I got to give you guys a shout out for putting the show on, man. Fantastic job as always. And then the league, man, what a good race. Rough start there at first, but the strategy played out, and I'm glad it wasn't a fuel mileage race like I thought it was going to be. And I want to, shout out to Randy. Tough luck there. I'm not sure what exactly happened. I know he got
3 wide, gone awry.
Yeah, kind of got cleaned out, which sucks because me and him were on the same strategy, and he was fast too. And obviously the rest of the payday team with Jacob and Ryan and the other payday team. I think those guys we've been doing pretty good this season. So we gotta keep that momentum going for the last few races.
Yeah, man, keep it up. Good job, Justin Wilson, winner at Indy tonight. The Evan Pienta Designs Brickyard 175. Go celebrate it, my friend.
We will.
All right, Chris, man, this Justin mentioned it earlier. This race had some chaos at first, couple of cautions in the first 12 or 13 laps. And sometimes I think it's important to remember that, we're not going to run every single race caution-free or with a single caution, right? These are human beings on the track. They are not AI computer cars going around the track in circles exactly perfect every time. So, with just 3 or 4 cautions tonight in 70 laps, we still are turning out, I think our average cautions is somewhere around 2 cautions per race, which is really stellar, and I think sometimes it's easy to get lost in a single incident. So great job by all drivers tonight. We mentioned Sam Maxwell, our race controller, had his hands full with a couple of calls tonight, did a great job on that. We'll shout him out. But just looking through the session results right now, Chris, who stands out to you in the top 10?
I think it's got to be the 3rd place finisher, Nick Lucci, in his very first slingshot race. I was around Nick a little bit on Sunday night in the practice race, and I was very impressed with his speed and his poise, and didn't make any type of really crazy aggressive maneuvers, and man, brought it home with a nice 3rd place finish, had great long run pace, and yeah, I just want to quickly shout out the drivers as well. It's no secret that we started out the season with a little bit of chaos in the first couple of races, but I feel like we've come a long way. There was a little bit more cautions tonight than I thought we were going to have, but we've just come such a long way. These drivers have over the course of this season, and Yeah, the second half of the race definitely showed it. So, shout out to all the drivers.
Yeah, shout out to everyone who just makes this possible. Shout out to the fans. We've got Thanksgiving coming up here in a couple of days. We are thankful for y'all spending your Tuesday nights with us as the results continue to scroll through the rest of the top 20 and top 30. We're grateful for spending your evenings with us, and we can't thank you enough. We are thankful for our fans. We're thankful for our drivers and every person involved who makes this operation possible. The saying is, it takes a village. And whether it's, the drivers themselves, Evan Pienta, who does a lot of the graphic work, Chris Pierce, who does a lot of the graphics that you see on the screen during our broadcast, that takes a lot of brain power that I know I certainly don't have. Chris, I suspect you're not a big programmer either.
Not at all.
We rely on folks like that to make this all possible. All of our partners who took a gamble on us just to support us, like Apex Energy, Sim Racing Concepts, UD Awards, Evan Pienta Designs, and just everyone who makes all of this possible. Like I mentioned, it truly takes a village, and I'm sure I've left people off, but this Thanksgiving, I'm exceptionally thankful for all of them. I'm also grateful for you, Chris, who does a great job producing these races. That is not an easy job to do, with getting all those cameras oriented correctly and switching to the correct views and hitting all the buttons. And this operation would not work without you, so we're grateful for you as well. So.
I'm thankful for everything that you do for Slingshot. You put in a lot of hours and a lot of effort and time and energy into this, and do a great job with the play-by-play. And man, I think I speak for everybody in the league when I say that we're all grateful for the work that you do, and I'm very thankful.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that, and we do it for the drivers. We do it for the fans.
Yep.
And if you like what you're seeing right now, if you haven't already liked and subscribed on YouTube, go ahead and hit those buttons. We greatly appreciate it. And we will be sending out that diecast to Doug Mindorf. If you're still watching, make sure you send that email to get us your contact information to get you that Chase Briscoe throwback Tony Stewart diecast. And Chris, it's been a wonderful evening. We're headed to Nashville Super Speedway next week with just 3 races remaining in the championship. Less than 15 points are going to be separating the top 2, probably even less than that. We'll have an exact point calculation later on in the week, but Richmond after that is going to be a departure from the high speeds we've seen. We're going to Richmond to short track, and then we're going to finish it out at Miami. And you mentioned Justin Wilson a little bit nervous about Miami. A lot can happen in between these 3 next weeks. With the finale on December 12th. It is going to be awesome. We are looking forward to crowning a champion and giving them that UD Awards Championship trophy, that Apex Energy Series Cup, as it is. So
yeah, and there's a...
Till next... Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'll just add very quickly to this, we will not be racing tomorrow night for the Super Speedway Fall Classic. We'll be back next Wednesday for that. And we'll crown a champion in that series as well, and somebody will be taking home this awesome looking ring that you see right here on the screen.
Yeah, the championship ring for the winner of that Super Speedway Fall Classic, taking the week off but head into the finale next week at Daytona in the trucks. It is going to be awesome. Check it out on Wednesday evenings. We can't wait. Another Slingshot Championship will be crowned, and till then, everybody, I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving, gets plenty of food, stuffs themselves, and comes back next week ready for more Slingshot Racing. I've been Ellis Thomas in the booth, joined by Chris Smith for Slingshot Racing League of the Apex Energy Series. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.